A very warm welcome to the next episode of the Raj podcast. Today we have Mr. Vivek Pawar sir with us, who has been extremely successful in whichever venture he started, be it the founder of Sankalp Semiconductors, be it the CEO of Deshpande Foundation, which he was for quite some years. Other than that, he is also the current acting CEO for I4C, which is a company that is enabling innovation and boosting that for the student community. And other than that, he's the visionary behind the VidyaLeap program, which is a very, very insightful and engaging program. I think something very different they are doing for the student community and maybe a revolution in the Indian education system. So really looking forward to this insightful conversation with you, sir, and knowing your journey. Basically, I think this is one of the first podcasts where I'm really interested to know two aspects, the past and the future, where you've had a very glorious past in whatever you've achieved, and I think a very interesting future you are creating, not just for yourself but for the country as a whole. So really looking forward to that, sir.
So thank you, Ruvik. Looking forward to talking to the students on the VidyaLeap program.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, to start with, can you share your journey and something like your story? How did it all start? Your story, say 25, 30, 40 years back of when you entered the industry and how things shaped, how Sankalp shaped, something about that, sir?
Yeah, so maybe what I can share with everybody is very early journey, maybe 35, 40 years back. Because you look at the success, but you don't look at the failures. And that a lot of times gets kind of misplaced to be the student thinking that success is only success from the beginning.
Right.
So I would say I was in the College of Engineering, Pune, 1985, in the final year. And I was outstanding student of the class. Always standing outside the class, that's why outstanding. Okay. So, and every year I used to say, next year I'll start from the studying from the beginning. And first 5-10 days I'll start beginning, and then it will be all extracurricular. And last 15 days is kind of a cramming up, right?
I've never related so much to any guest.
It's okay. So I wondered this time the job was important. So we had the interview and I got a job in Optanica.
In the final year?
In the final year.
Okay.
In Sharp TV, which was starting as Optanica TV in Pune. And I was looking forward to it. But there's a fine print there. You have to have first class in the final year. And looking at that, I looked at my past record and I had around average of all the semesters was 58.13%. And I remember that decimal place also because it's a very important number for me. So I said, every year I used to say I study from the beginning, next time onwards. But this time there is no next time. It has to be this time.
Correct.
So final year I had to get first class. So first thing I did was I left a hostel, which I have been staying in the hostel for close to 15 years, right from the 5th standard. I was a Sainik School Satara student and went to a paying guest where I was not allowed to bring any guest inside, and I was also not allowed to come after 9:30. I had to come before 9:30 to home.
Okay.
So I said this will force me to study, and thereby first class I needed 2%. So I set a goal of 2%. Study happened, college happened, finished, exam given, and results came, and I got actually 2% change.
Oh wow.
Okay, but I got 2% less.
Oh.
So I got 56%.
Oh my God.
Okay. So I lost my job, right? And that 3 months was very, very painful because out of 65 students, I was the only person who didn't have a job and he was looking for giving interview after interview. And once you're out of the campus, everybody looks at you as a kind of a trash. He didn't get a job, that means he's a trash. And then they will look at with magnifying lens. And even if you're capable, you won't get a job. So it took me 3 months and finally I got your job in Videocon. So that's a change I would say students want to observe, that although I founded a company which is semiconductor, made it a global brand, but it was not a success from the beginning. It was a major failure at one setback at one time. So the success doesn't start from the beginning. Success starts from the day you decide, I want to change my trajectory.
Sir, tell me one thing. You already envisioned when you shifted to the paying guest, कि शायद it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to work hard to crack the percentage.
Yeah.
So you put in all the efforts. Not just that, you put in extra efforts because you didn't stay in your campus. You went away, such that no one can visit you, and all those extra circumstances that could support you. In spite of that, in spite of putting efforts, double efforts and extra efforts, then also when you fail, how do you deal with that, sir?
So it's a setback. So first few days is kind of a denial phase, right? Oh, why did it happen? And you start blaming the situation, right? Okay, maybe marks were not given properly. My practicals marks were less. Somehow teachers didn't appreciate me.
Correct.
But after some time you realize the acceptance coming. And the earlier the acceptance, denial is okay, but earlier the acceptance come and you take responsibility. You realize that yes, I studied more, but 2%, right? For 2% I need to work maybe 5-10% extra, that's all.
Right, sir.
And by shifting the hostel to the room, I assume that maybe it will happen. So I think the goal is not important. Important is memory of the goal every day. Reminder to make sure that okay, there is a goal, and for that you have to do something.
Wow, I really like that when you said setting a goal is actually not important, but reminding yourself of the goal every single day is important, sir.
Correct.
Yes. So, sir, that was your journey, the initial failures in your college days.
Correct.
But then, how did it move to setting up a company of Sankalp Semiconductor, sir?
So the question comes is what changed then, right?
Right.
So I joined a Videocon job. For 2 years I was there, and then I met an accident. So my hand actually, I can't turn this hand.
Okay.
And I can't take this. This is my turning point in my life, another turning point in my life.
Okay.
So I was in the bed for 1.5 months, and I realized that whole life I've been actually living to get appreciation from others, being popular, right? And all of our kids at that age, right? You want to be popular in the class, and popular by doing something what is appreciated, not studying, spending time outside, doing something which is kind of which is more makes you more popular, but which is not actually kind of your core
attention seeking
attitude,
attitude.
Right? Yeah, right. So I realized that if without studying it with interest, actually in Videocon, I was promoted to be a vice president of one unit,
Yes.
and I was running that actually. So I said, if I can, without actually studying enough, if I can do very well in the job, if I study with interest, I can do a lot more. Then I decided to join IIT. So I said, okay, let me leave the job,
Okay.
go for a lecturership, study for IIT exam, get exam, and then if I get IIT, great. If I don't get, I'll still do MTech with interest now, with focus on curricular more and partially extracurricular. So reverse the whole journey that I had earlier. So nobody supported me because of my background, including my parents. Everybody said, keep the job, and if you give exam, pass, then you can go. Otherwise, you continue the job. Because everybody was concerned that if I leave to a lectureship job, I will never get a job again.
Right.
So I was sitting once with my uncle, a friend, and his uncle came. And he said, what is happening? You're generally bubbly, energetic, what happened? So I told him all the story. Nobody's supporting me for leaving the job and going for MTech study and lecturership. So he said, are you sure you want to go for MTech? I said, yes, uncle. Are you 100% sure? I said, yes, uncle. He said, are you willing to do anything for it? I said, yes, uncle. Why are you kind of teasing me? He said, I'm not teasing you. I want to test whether you really want to go it, or you're just going because of fad that everybody wants to go. So I said, no, I want to do. Are you willing to do anything for it? I said, yes. He said me, write down 10 things that you love to eat, love to have, love to do, which will not help you towards the MTech.
Okay.
So example he gave me. So I used to love non-veg, morning, afternoon, evening, and after dinner also somebody brings, I will eat it. Tea, coffee, TV, movie, picnic with friends. And I wrote that, and he said, okay, take this pen, cross this till you achieve your MTech goal. I said, uncle, I want to live, right? No tea, no coffee, no non-veg. I'll stop TV, movie, chit-chat, because that takes time, right? But tea, coffee, non-veg, it's not taking time. He said, it's not a question of time. And that's what I realized by important lesson in my life. He said that you set the goal earlier. Goal is good to have, but not most important. Most important is memory of the goal. So when you say no to tea, no to coffee, no to non-veg, what will it remind you? I said, remind you of goal. He said, do that. And then he said, then I said, uncle, I can go ahead? He said, you go ahead. Then I told my parents, my uncle was saying that I should leave job and go this. Now, because he was a respected person in the society, everybody said, okay, let him do it 1 year.
Wow.
I left the job, went for lecturership, and then I got 98.6 percentile in the GATE exam.
Wow.
So 1 year, no tea, no coffee, no non-veg, no TV, no movie, no picnic parties with friends. So first movie I saw was actually in the March exam was in March. April I saw the first movie after 1 year. And once I got IIT Kharagpur, I think that the difference I learned was when I set a mediocre goal, you put mediocre efforts and then mediocre results. If you put extraordinary goal, which is impossible, near impossible for me, because I was the only batchmate from my batch, nobody had gone to IIT for MTech. So I had to go. It was extraordinary goal. When you have extraordinary goal, you put extraordinary efforts.
Wow.
And extraordinary efforts give you extraordinary results. So goal is not important, direction is important. So put an extraordinary goal and don't worry about the goal, direction. So if I have to do extraordinary goal, direction has to be extraordinary from day one.
Superb.
And effort is extraordinary and it will happen. So I think so.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that helped, I would say.
So then you finally cleared IIT.
I went to IIT Kharagpur, passed IIT Kharagpur, then I got a job in Textile Instruments,
Okay.
chip design.
Right. And then you moved towards your startup with Sankalp.
Yeah, so then after few years I was in US as my assignment in US. So with my family I was moved to US. But one day I decided that I want to do something for India, come back and do something. So I tried multiple options of enabling entrepreneurs because India needs entrepreneurs with conscience, because entrepreneurs create job, which is unemployment problem, wealth, poverty problem, and third is entrepreneurs with conscience, help the education, they invest in education. So three are the problems of India: poverty, education and unemployment.
Right.
So if that can be solved, but then I didn't know how to enable entrepreneurs because I didn't know what entrepreneurship is all about. So then I realized that entrepreneurship, I should be successful entrepreneur with conscience first, then I can help others.
Right.
So I said, let me start Sankalp and become successful entrepreneur with conscience. And that's why tagline for Sankalp was entrepreneurship with conscience.
Wow.
So we said we will not participate in the corruption in India. We can't kill it, but we will not be part of it.
Right, right.
And that's the only thing.
So where did you start Sankalp then?
2005 we came back to India with family, and 2005 October we started company in Bangalore.
In Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Okay.
In the AECS layout, with the goal that we'll go to tier 2 cities.
Okay.
Because idea was to become one of the biggest analog chip design services companies in the world. And that time I think most of the companies were smaller. So one Portuguese companies was there, which was actually 200 engineers, 150, 200 engineers. We said we want to be 250 engineers company.
So then you can break the record of the Portuguese company and be the highest.
Yeah,
okay.
correct. So with that mind we started in Bangalore, but we realized that despite telling everybody that after 2 years we are going to go to tier 2 city, every month we'll have 1 or 2 members coming and saying, Vivek, I know company is going to tier 2 city, but I'm comfortable with Bangalore. So we said after 2 years, if everybody says that, okay, I want to be in Bangalore, then I can't go alone with the company to tier 2 city. So we had a long weekend session with our partners, co-partners, and we actually decided that we either move now or never. Then we started looking for a tier 2 cities with a college campus, because we said anyway we are going away from the customers, let's go into college campus where the talent is there. And then finally with lot of permutation combination we decided the BB college Hubli.
Okay, Hubli.
Hubli. Yes.
So you started your Sankalp Semiconductor, then eventually moved it to Hubli. Okay.
Lock, stock and barrel. So this, as for a startup company to invest in one building and then give up that and go to...
Not easy, really
easy.
Not easy. Yes.
We are kind of invested around 25 lakhs, right? And that is a lot of money at that time.
25 lakh in 2005.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
For just the infrastructure and all that. So we had to give up that. So we gave up that and went to Hubli. But that was the best decision that could happen, because after going there, we actually not just became 250. By 2018, we were actually kind of a 1,000 people company.
Oh wow! So that previous one was 200. You wanted to reach 250, but you ended up reaching 1,000.
1,000. Okay.
That's nice.
So I would say it was definitely the efforts of the leaders who joined there. Mentors like Gururaj Deshpande, Kishore Patil, and the support from the ecosystem of Hubli, the Deshpande Foundation, KLE Tech, and TAI in Hubli. All these actually helped Sankalp to become a independent, biggest company in the world, independent service provider in the world for chip design.
Right. So, what are your team management and leadership strategies? Because getting 1,000 engineers in a place like Hubli and having them motivated to stay in your company and do good and not shift away to somewhere else like Bangalore, I'm sure it requires a lot of leadership skills and strategies.
Yeah. So biggest thing is the whole thing should be with integrity. You cannot say I'll have this particular benefit for the employees just for the sake of retention. You have to figure out what is that long-term benefit employees can get in the company. So it has to be long-term goal. So we realized that if you go to Tier 2 city, you would like to attract people who want to stay in the Tier 2 city and have career, long-term career, have world-class work happening in their city, staying in the home. So if we can do that, we said that will be transformational. So that was the first thing we did. Then whole leadership team was in Bangalore and nobody was from Hubli. And all of them moving to Hubli was a commitment to the cause. They all believed in that.
They all agreed?
They all agreed.
Wow.
Okay. So all
I
of
think
them
that
moved
speaks a lot about the way you would have spoken to them as well.
So it was, I would say, if I would not have moved, they wouldn't have moved.
Wow.
So you have to walk the talk. You can't say that, okay, you guys move, but I will be staying in Bangalore, right? That wouldn't have worked, right?
Yes.
So we all moved together. I think that was together. It's a team decision, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is...
So the first one I take is leaders lead with action.
Correct.
Can I take it that way?
Sure,
Yes.
you have to walk the talk.
Right.
That will happen. Second thing is you have to find a win-win. See, there are some strategies you can do which are win for the company but not win for the individuals. There are some which are actually kind of a win-win for both. So every strategy you do should be win-win for both. When win-win is there, like Stephen Covey says, right? If you have win-lose or lose-win, both become lose-lose. Because whoever is winning and somebody is losing, right? That losing will want to other person to lose later on.
Correct.
But if you do a win-win strategy, both are happy and both will support each other and win-win always becomes successful. So you should have win-win or no deal at all. So win-win strategy was that we said, okay, why don't we create individuals to train them for 5 to 6 months instead of just putting them on the job and train them from the basic fundamentals and connect to them so that they understand what is electronics about, what is semiconductor about, what is design about, and then we had kind of a training program. So we created a separate company called Eklaksha Village R&D, which was only for training the students who are joining Sankalp and making them actually putting them on a pedestal of learning so that the growth can happen.
Wow.
And then we got connected to them, right? Because when we were teaching them, I used to teach them on Saturday and Sundays. So we used to get connected and then together we learned. And that was second reason, because when I moved to Hubli, most people were saying interesting idea. What they meant was actually it's a foolish idea. Most of the talent is in Bangalore. We are looking at becoming 250 engineer company and going to Hubli. And I would like to definitely say that there was a company called Karmik, started by my guru, who was ex-TI, which was in Manipal. So it was not that first time Sankalp has been the first to go to Tier 2 city, but definitely we were a good kind of, I would say, follower. And we learned from the Karmik and improvised on that. They went to Karmik, went to Manipal, but they were in the area which was in the residential area, so a lot of support was not there. So we went into the college campus, so everything was there for my employees, right? Playground is there, gym is there, we had the meeting rooms were there, we had a customer boardrooms were there. So we didn't have to really invest anything and we actually got benefit of that. And at the same time, we actually trained students from second year in UG diploma. So students got benefited to kind of learn VLSI during their college time, BTech time, which only was available in IITs, nowhere else. So it was a win-win for college, win for the employees, win for Sankalp, and thereby this became actually kind of a 1 + 1 + 1 became actually 1 1 1.
Right.
So that's a
nice.
synergy.
That's nice. Okay, sir. To sum up your whole journey, before we go to the part of the program that you're coming up with, can you tell me, just in a rapid fire, top 5 learnings of your whole journey from your failure in the engineering days when you did not crack a job to creating a successful Sankalp with 1,000 employees. If you were to share your top 5 learnings, what would they be?
So first is, I would say, whatever happens can't be changed. So let's make good out of it. So earlier I used to say, whatever happens is for good. But then I learned that, okay, that not all situations we can say good. So what I can say is, what has happened is happened, we can't change it. But we can create good out of it, we can find good out of it.
I really like the way you distinguish between whatever happens is for good versus it cannot be changed and let's find the good. Yes.
So that's the learning. Second learning was basically every setback is actually kind of a step for growing better. So step back is actually kind of your, this is the worst thing that can happen. So after that is going to be only way up. So only after, if you can put effort and believe that it's going to be go up, right? So belief in yourself and effort towards coming up helps you.
Great.
Third is basically the values are important. If your values, you can have business values, but business keeps changing, so that will not be sustainable. But if you have human values, then you connect to people, employees connect, partners connect, and people with aligned values, actually together you can make 1 + 1 bigger, 3,
Correct.
1 + 1 11. So values important. Fourth is basically having a goal. Just mediocre goal produces mediocre results. So shoot for the sky, okay? But don't get latched onto the goal, okay?
Okay.
Every day the memory should be there for the goal, not the what is going, but direction towards. So the goal should give you direction. If it's a extreme, very high goal, your direction will be towards the sky, right? If it's a mediocre goal, it will be like this. So as long as your direction is clear by the goal, then focus on basically kind of a processes that will take you towards the goal.
Amazing.
So what will make you happen? So processes focus is important because a lot of times you will not get results for years together. But if your process focus on process with the consistency, results will come in. So that's a fourth one. And last one and most important, I would say, is that you always have blind spots. So if you don't have mentors as a coach who can actually show your mind blind spot, you could actually be not achieving your full potential. So always have mentors. If you don't find one mentor having all the qualities that's required, you will have multiple mentors who actually are guiding you, showing you the blind spot and helping you to unshackle your potential and get to the maximum level. So these are, I would say, learnings that I have got in my...
Amazing. So I think I find one of my mentors in you, sir, today.
Yeah, always welcome.
So the third one you said of human values. Can you share what your human values are?
See, basically, I would say I was also struggling, right? So when I started this, came to India, what are those values? So I would say one of the most important values is integrity. What you think, what you say, what you do should be aligned. If it's not aligned, then you will not get trustworthy leaders, partners, collaborators, and then you actually kind of fail.
Right.
So like Good to Great talks about, you don't want people joining the company because of the destination where you're going. It is good to have. But most important is, if you get together because of the common aligned values and the bus is going towards one destination, tomorrow because of business decision, the bus direction might change, you might change the destination. But we are enjoying working together because of the values, then it doesn't matter. Nobody will get off the bus. So it's very important to have human values aligned and get people who are aligned with the values and go forward. The trust gets developed. When trust is there, you put in the best efforts and synergy happens, and you will always get synergy with the values aligned, and you will get more output than the individual parts, some of the individual parts put together.
Truly, sir, truly. I think it was really amazing knowing of your whole journey of your past, right from say 80s, right from 80s where the whole college failure incident to I think say 2017-18 where I think Sankalp saw its success eventually. Now coming to the next aspect, which what are your plans ahead, sir? Like I just got to know that you're starting a self-learning course for students. What's it called, sir?
VidyaLeap.
VidyaLeap. Okay. Can you share something about it? What exactly is this? And with that also, why did you change your focus to something like this, sir?
Yeah, so I come from Maharashtra, Marathwada region, which is one of the most backward regions of Maharashtra. And whenever I used to go there to visit my parents, I used to stay, just visit my parents and come back. And I never used to feel very good about it. And I didn't have enough awareness to see why I was not feeling that. So towards the end of my journey with Sankalp, I basically stepped down from CEO role because I didn't want to go back to US, and my partner became the CEO, who was a US citizen. So during that time, I was reflecting a lot, and I realized that the poverty in Marathwada is so high that every time I go there, I used to see the poverty, and I used to see that I have moved away from that. I ran away from that, not moved away actually, it was running away. Because deep inside the programming is there. I believe strongly that most people from Marathwada feel that, okay, I need to get out of this as soon as possible for the greener pastures. And because that is programmed from childhood, you don't want to go back.
Correct.
So I wanted to give back something. So whenever I got first opportunity 6 years back, Gururaj Deshpande was my founder. He asked me, hey, would you like to be a CEO of Deshpande Foundation and impact the rural transformation? I was excited. And I talked to my partners in Sankalp, and they all said, this is your forte, go, that's your dream. So I resigned from chairman role of Sankalp.
So you resigned from your own company basically?
Own company, 1988, 2008, 2018, and joined Deshpande Foundation as CEO. I was trustee for Deshpande Foundation from beginning, but I became a CEO plus trustee, so managing trustee. So 5 years, I really learned a lot from Desh Deshpande about how to bring entrepreneurship into social sector. And I learned that most social organizations are struggling to scale fundamentally because they don't have a solution which is productized. So what happens when any solution is there which is not researched, R&D is not completed, and productization is not done, as soon as it starts scaling, the quality falls down, impact falls down, and the cost increases because your absolute number increases. So they made us realize that if you productize it and make sure that it is cheaper, faster and better every year, and the most of the money comes from the beneficiary, then beneficiary is no longer beneficiary, he is a customer. Then you can make this a product, and the product is the best because if beneficiary is paying maximum money, that means there is a value for the product.
Correct.
So you make social sector like a for-profit sector entrepreneur. So now we'll go say why it is important, right? So if you look at the for-profit sector, right, if they have compassion, but they also have a excellence, culture of excellence, right? Excellence, because every year they have to make their product or service cheaper, faster or better.
With increasing your profits. Yes.
If it doesn't happen, somebody else does a better one. If their quality is down,
you're finished.
They're finished, right? So they cannot live without excellence. But sometimes compassion can go for toss because that's not required in the for-profit sector. Okay, some keep, some lose. But in the not-for-profit sector, the money is coming from somebody and service is going to somebody else, or product is going to somebody else. So there's no feedback loop. So if they don't perform also, they don't have to collapse. They can keep getting funding and they can do some work. There is no requirement to improve make it cheaper, faster, better. So they said any program you do, the beneficiary has to pay. It can start with a small amount, but major amount has to come from beneficiary. Then only that means they appreciate the quality.
Then it's sustainable and long term.
Correct.
Only then you can.
And then feedback is also there, right?
Correct.
If they don't get the quality, they'll stop paying the money.
Correct.
So your program cannot run.
Correct.
So it's a very good feedback loop, and that's why how to bring a culture of excellence in a social sector with a compassion as well as culture of excellence. If you bring in, then this becomes the best organization.
I really like all the different aspects that are coming together in this thing, because all are seemingly contradictory sometimes, where it's compassion with the culture of excellence, with the beneficiary actually paying for your compassion.
Correct.
I think that's a great combination.
Correct. And if you make it scalable, after some scale happens, your fixed cost gets divided, and then you can make profit, invest the profit into scale again, and improve the product. So this is what I did for 5-6 years, and then I decided to move to Pune. Personal reason as well as, and Desh suggested that I can actually work with the impact in Maharashtra. So we are implementing Deshpande Foundation products, 3 of them in Maharashtra, in my region, Marathwada, Farm Pond, Skill in Village, and Skill Plus program, where the graduates are made employable.
Wow, that's nice.
So we started in 10 schools now, maybe 5 colleges, and maybe around 100 plus for farm ponds done. This year will be 200 plus and will grow on. But then I came to Pune, I had time.
Farm ponds, what are farm ponds?
For the farmers, right? So what is the problem for the farmers? Water sometimes doesn't come at all. Rain is not there. Your seed is there already put in. The plant dies. Then you have to again put the seed plus the fertilizer, everything again. So your cost is increasing, and farmer actually kind of get into debt trap because of that. But if you have farm pond where the water is stored, rainwater, flowing water on the ground is stored in the farm pond, they can actually give water when the rain is not there. They can use that for watering the plant, the crop, and they can survive.
I think a very simple solution for a very much needed problem. Correct. Really well done.
That is one. And second thing is, they can have 2 crops now. Because water is stored.
Correct.
Second crop can be started, right?
Very
so
nice.
They can double the income. So it has done in North Karnataka. So that is implemented now in Maharashtra, and hopefully it will scale to lakhs of funds down next year, few years, right?
Hoping for the same, sir.
But then I had time, so I was wondering what I do. So I realized that I want to do something which is actually I enjoy, I'm good at, and society needs it.
I love the combination of these three.
So then if you do the middle of that, right, intersection of all the three, your hobby becomes your profession. And that also feels good about it, right? It's impact. So I realized that in Sankalp, we actually trained 1,500 plus employees from tier 2, tier 3 colleges in semiconductor. So that means skilling is my passion as well as my strength.
Correct.
Okay. And India needs today electronic and semiconductor engineers for next 10 years, maybe 5 to 10 million.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that is from manufacturing, testing, servicing, packaging, design, everything is required, right? And also programming, right? Embedded programming. So all this is required in next 10 years, and most engineers, electronic engineers, are going into software jobs, and after few years what happens is that they get laid off because they are not from the core discipline.
So do software engineers have job security today?
I would say whoever has a deep understanding of the subject, they can keep improving themselves, there's a security. So you are in a core job, right? Then there's a chance of security is high. The job itself doesn't secure you, but it increases your security. Core job. If you are in the core job, your security is higher. But the biggest thing that makes your security higher is that if you keep learning, self-learning, and keep learning new technology, you are secure, because only people who keep learning are retained by the organizations.
Correct.
And that's most important. So students have to do that. But then how do you get the self-learning? And we'll talk about that later, right?
Just one thing, sir, because we're talking about this topic. Do you think things like ChatGPT, AI, the way they're progressing, I think I just saw a reel yesterday where now even tech designers are not needed to make a website, and AI can make a website for you just by doing nothing. Things like Shopify have come where it makes a website for you, integrates your payment gateway, and you don't need to have any tech experience to start your own online business, to be very honest. Okay. So do you think all this does give a risk for engineers to their jobs today?
Yeah, see, it's like this, right? The change is going to be permanent. So AI is going to bring the changes, and the low-end jobs will be gone. So engineers have to just kind of to do the next level of complex jobs, data analytics, okay, using the AI for actually making things better. So you can use AI, instead of AI, you become victim of AI, you are actually AI to improve your efficiency, then you are actually on the top of it.
Then you are safe, right? Correct.
So the biggest thing is basically that things are going to change. So ChatGPT will come and more AI will come, but it will not eliminate jobs. It will improve your efficiency, okay? And people will be required to run that. Correct. Because ChatGPT today also, I'm running for last 6 months, right? 4 months actually. And simple questions which are not typically in the internet, it can't solve. It is above your age. It is not a
high class
genius engineer, right? It is above your age. And more you engineer the prompt, the better it gives result for that particular segment, right? If you don't do it, it's not going to give. So it depends on that. So companies are going to use that for increasing efficiency. So their number of requirements will go down, but the engineers can actually create this use this AI for growing the business and revenue, the company goes bigger, more jobs will be required. So the same happens with computers, right? Initially when computers came in India, we said, okay, banks, the employees will be gone. So it was avoided that no bank will use computers.
Oh.
Okay. Only when it was approved, I agreed that it will be only used for entering the ledger. Okay. Data only, and will not replace the human being. It was allowed, and so it was only the part of the only entering was used, right? Later on, that grew so much that it created more jobs. So one person doesn't have to be. You don't have to have one person for taking the cash, one for giving the cash, one for entering this, right? So one person can do all the three jobs because computer was there in front of them. Correct. So they could have multiple branches increased, growth increased. So I think technology is going to come. Constantly human being has to kind of get up the learning curve, go to the next stage, use the technology to make it better.
Nice.
So
can you give a brief overview about the self-learning VidyaLeap course, or what exactly it is, what you would be teaching, and how is it different from the current traditional education format?
So as I said few minutes back, that electronics, embedded electronics design and semiconductor jobs are going to grow in next 10 years. And India needs it because manufacturing is starting now in India. Design has to be there from India. Currently we are importing it, and due to import kind of a bill is very high. So we have a cash deficit, current account deficit because of that only. So how do you train them, right? So currently what is happening is students are coming out to be engineers, but they are coming with only theoretical knowledge. They have not actually taken industry technology, industry tools, industry processes and solve industry problems. When they don't do that, they actually become kind of it takes 3 to 6 months for them to actually ramp up to the performance in the company. Now you will ask question, earlier also it was the same thing. They were not that capable anyway. Earlier the life cycle of product was 2 years. Laptop used to take after every 2 years you used to have new laptop. It started to become every 1 year. Now every 3 months you have new laptop. So cycle time for the new products has reduced. So student cannot take 6 months to ramp up. They have to be fast.
सीखा तब तक तो चला गया.
Okay. So it's important that students have to start learning by doing it, and that is missing in the current system. Now, how can it change? We can't expect professor to learn industry and teach. It will be not possible. They should do what they are good at, mentoring students, guiding students, and we should have industry technology tool brought through a bridge between industry and academia. And this is what VidyaLeap is doing. So I foresee, which is basically Interinstitutional Inclusive Innovation Center, started by stalwarts across Pune, is a not-for-profit organization that will form a bridge between industry and academia, and we will kind of make sure that the students will have learning by doing projects and challenging projects on electronics, embedded, so that they actually learn by doing it. When you learn anything by doing it, retention is very high. And the whole idea is basically there will be projects given to them. Based on the projects, they will learn something, and student assessing will be done automatically. We are using the platform for that, and also gamification. And because assessment is done automatically, we don't need experts there. So scaling can happen. So we can go to not one college, we can go to 10 colleges, 15 colleges without needing experts. The experts are spending time on creating the learning experience for the students in terms of project, which will be modified every year. Then is creating the assessment system for the students, so that without expert assessment can be done. And third, it is creating actually kind of a self-learning modules, so that student actually learn by doing it and not by actually reading something and then trying to do it.
Amazing, sir. So just one thing, because now you said this course is being created right now and it's going to scale to, I hope, all of India, maybe all of the world. So you just said some minutes back that जो 3 महीने पहले सीखा वो आज रेलिवेंट नहीं है. हर 3 महीने कुछ नया आ रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी बदल रही है, एवरीथिंग इज चेंजिंग. दिस कोर्स सर बीइंग मेड टुडे इन 2023, will you change it every year, every quarter? How have you planned that, sir?
Very good question. I think very good question. See, the technology is changing every 3 to 6 months. New languages are coming, new microcontrollers are coming, new electronic systems are coming. And if you make projects which are actually not relevant to the current, then students will not be able to kind of learn by doing it. They will actually become obsolete. So every year we'll have to make a project, kind of look at the project, based on the results that we have from the students, based on the feedback from the companies, what they are looking for, what they are seeing missing in the students that we have provided to them or interviews, then we should actually add to the system, and system should continuously improve so that the projects are actually better and better, complex and complex, and students are actually learning kind of a more complex things in the project, so that when they go to companies, they're actually kind of within month they should be able to perform on the job.
Nice.
Okay.
So basically this whole course will be majorly project based learning only. Is
Correct,
that right?
Correct.
That's nice.
Project based learning, and we are also making such a way that is the whole course of 4 months which is going to happen after the college, and also in the final semester internship, when the student go for internship and end up in buying fake certificates of internship. Instead of that, we'll give them the internship and training so that they get a job.
That's nice.
This program will now go to second year, third year, every semester as project based learning, so that they will actually have complex projects as they go in the college campus. Professors will teach them the theory, project based learning will actually give them the practical, and this will make a completely holistic learning, and this will use NEP, New Education Policy, to introduce project based learning in every semester. And we are tied up with few colleges, and every college is encouraging that and inviting us to do that.
That's amazing, sir. Sir, just wanted to know that you have a great industry experience of, say, I think over 35 years. How does that influence the content approach of the course?
Yeah. See what happens, right? When you look at the content, the curriculum, whether it's MIT, IIT, curriculum can be similar. The difference is going to be how it is kind of implemented in the campus, right? So if it is more theory, then it will not work, because in the industry there are no lectures, right? Your project is there, you learn on the project, and then if you need some knowledge, you go to look at the video, look at the book,
Correct.
Talk to the experts. So the goal should be every learning in the future, and if you ask me, ideal college should be where 50% is actually practical. And on this project based learning, whatever is required for that project to succeed, those subjects can be learned by students. Then it becomes actually kind of a learning for some goal. And when goal based learning is there, your learning is much higher and retention is much higher.
Amazing.
If you are learning for the sake of learning, but you don't know how it's going to apply, then you lose the retention is not there, and you lose the context of it.
Correct.
So that change will be done. And that industry experience is what we are bringing here, that they will do 80% will be actually projects and project related learning.
Really nice, sir. Really nice. Sir, I think this is now going to be a very different kind of a question.
Yeah.
Generally, when you do something, you achieve success, you're asked what were your challenges and how you overcame them. Today, sir, I would want to ask it the other way around, where you're going to start this program soon, I think now, anytime soon. What challenges do you foresee from now for the success of this?
Yeah. So I would say first is basically we will have to make sure this program is so successful that students, faculty and academia start seeing this as a solution to their problem and India's problem. Because colleges are having problem in terms of making student employable, and how to implement NEP policy in the college, and how to integrate the industry content into college. That's a problem for them. So I believe this biggest challenge is going to be how do we actually kind of get students and faculty to believe that this is actually kind of a solution for the employability, right? So that's the first problem we have to solve. Second problem is going to be scale. Whenever you go to multiple colleges, when you start the first program, you have planned scale. But when you go to multiple colleges, different colleges have different ecosystem, different city, different kind of a culture, and this should actually kind of start adopting to that. It cannot be a cookie cutter model that what works in Pune will work in Maharashtra or Aurangabad or Nasik or Satara. So you have to actually have one trial there, figure out how much it works, and then adapt that. So we have to have something which is not changeable, 60, 70%, 80%, and 20% customizable based on the region that they are going, state they are going, so that it doesn't become kind of so rigid that it starts failing in the environment where it is not working. So that is going to be the biggest challenge. And understanding that what should be fixed and what is customizable.
I think that's a really important combination for any course content that is created. The fixed part and the customizable part.
Correct.
It should not turn the other way around also.
Correct.
And it should remain this way.
Correct. That's the second. Third problem is going to be when you deliver this, we're going to have a teacher's training program and we're going to have people coming in, right? So to make sure that the technology should be used so that the last mile delivery doesn't matter. Who delivers the course, who receives doesn't matter. Impact should be 80% placement, right?
Perfect.
That has to happen. We have to make sure that the teacher's training has to be done with the intent that the quality of the teacher should have only less impact, the maximum impact because of the experiential learning that we have created, technology that we are bringing in. That is what should create 80% impact. Then the quality can actually add the impact but not reduce it, and that's the third challenge that we have to solve.
That's amazing, sir. That's amazing. So as we come to the end of this podcast, I have last 2-3 questions for you, sir. First, what are some quality, because now you've been in both the roles, you've been a successful entrepreneur yourself, plus you're training multiple other entrepreneurs.
Sure.
So what, according to you, are the top few skills that any entrepreneur needs in himself to be a successful one?
Yes, I think the first is basically passion. You have to do something startup, not because you want to make money. You want to make money, great. That should not be purpose. Purpose has to be beyond, and you should be passionate for it. Then what happens, right? And why it is important? Because if you're looking at the purpose, right? Many times in the startup life cycle comes that you see end of the tunnel. This will not succeed at all. But because purpose is there, you continue and suddenly you find that the end of the tunnel was just right turn and few feet from there.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So purpose keeps you awake. That's the first thing. So purpose is important and passion for that is important. The second, most of the startup look at the idea and say, now I want to find a solution, problem. So they have a solution, which is idea, and they look for problem. That's the wrong way to start a startup. You have to first look at what is the problem that you're solving. Is it critical for the customer? Is it like a shoe white problem or hair on fire problem, right? Okay. If it's shoe white problem, it won't work. We will not get enough money. The negotiation, customer will not pay enough. Customer will not be able to even get the product. But if hair on fire problem, towards that, immediately you will actually kind of a critical problem for the customer.
Correct.
And then you have to say whether that customer segment is scalable, big enough that you can make money out of it and create a company and keep investing in R&D to grow the product better, cheaper, faster, better product so that you can stay in the business for long term.
Perfect.
That is very important. So that's the problem solving. Third is most of them are single man companies. They are not able to influence others. They should have complementing. One person cannot have business skills, finance skills, technical skills, execution skills and building organization skills, right? These are the 5 important things for the organization to succeed. But 2 people minimum or 3 people are required. Okay. If you don't have, if you're a 1-person company, they mostly fail because investment also thinks 10 times before investing because it's depending on 1 person. So it's important to have a partners but when you take partners, most of the entrepreneurs bring partners who are lesser than them in terms of competency. But I think we have to learn from Narayan Murthy's example. He's always said, recruit people better than you in areas, other areas, different areas. Then only company can grow. So I think we have to, and that sense of insecurity in the entrepreneur should be gone. The purpose is bigger, and for that bigger purpose, I'll take people who are better than me because then only company will succeed, right? And that's I would say, complementary team. And finally, the pricing has to be basically not based on cost plus profit, but should be based on the perceived value by the customer. And that is the way the pricing should be there. Because if you do cost plus profit, and most of them say, okay, I have done 100 rupees product, 200 rupees, 50% profit. No, it is 50% GPM. By the time you take care of the sales cost, marketing cost, branding, repairs, maintenance, replacements, inventory, your profit becomes 0. You have to have at least 75% GPM. That means you're 4 times the cost of the product should be your pricing. Then only you can get 15, 20%, 20% EBITDA profitability, net profit. So that is the last third one missing. And I think finally, most of them cannot scale because they don't have a sales pipeline without the founder going for sales. And the founder is always going for sales and he's also doing all management. So ability of founder to remove himself from the sales, remove him from the company, having the professionals in the different areas brought in and run like a big company, then it can scale. And I think that's missing. So I think these are the few learnings for the entrepreneurs to succeed.
Really nice, sir. Really nice. Sir, just on a very different note, what are your thoughts on the spiritual aspect of life, sir?
Yeah. So I think spirituality is very confused word, and so for me, simple thing is if you can get away from I, me, myself, and something beyond you, is a non-material world, right? So that's a spiritual world. So
Right.
if you can actually, the spiritual world helps you actually get a peace of mind first of all. Second, you make company, right? So when you are looking at a company success and beyond me, the success is guaranteed because you are not putting yourself and your insecurities in the path of the company success. At home also, you are not become basically kind of too besotted with yourself, I, me, myself. You are actually saying, okay, family success. So for that you adjust, you compromise, because it's nothing about you, right? It is beyond you. So my take is basically, if you can plan for doing something for the society, somebody else, nobody will stop you from doing it. So your happiness is by giving somebody, then nobody will stop you from giving. Your happiness is by taking, then people will be fighting, competition, right?
Correct.
So if you want long-term happiness, long-term peace, always giving to somebody, contributing for society, and society will give back 10 times more. That belief if you have, I would say spirituality, that way helps you have peace of mind and also grow.
Amazing, sir. Truly amazing. How was your experience with us, sir, today?
Experience was great. I think good questions, and I think it was a pleasant to share my experiences with the young people
Absolutely.
and my lessons they can actually.
I think I benefited the most. I don't know about the audience who will watch it, who will benefit, but I think I truly got a lot of things to take back today from you, sir. So, sir, coming to the end of this podcast, any signing off message or final message for the audience, sir?
Yeah, I think India is growing, and opportunity for us to get from developing nation to developed nation is next 10 years with high-tech manufacturing happening, design is going to happen, and only solution for India from going from developing nation to developed nation is through skilling. We have a tremendous demographic dividend, but that can become curse if we are not able to skill them and create the jobs and transform the society. So you all should be focused on skilling, and today I am learning ChatGPT. I am going to learn a lot of automation, and I want all of you to constantly see how you can improve the skills and pass on the skills to 10 people more, and I am sure India can be a great country going forward.
That's amazing, sir. That's amazing.
Great. Thank you to you.
Thank you, sir.
Chala.